Hi everyone, I just wanted to share with you this story from Quebec today. It's originally published in French, but I'm on the English translation. I'll put a link as always in the description box, so do go and have a look. But there you can see, there's your headline. Social services in Quebec are overwhelmed by complex cases caused by religion, and there's a picture. I won't attempt to say his name, apologies, from someone who was brought up a Jehovah's Witness. Now he's in his 30s and he wants isolated children in religious movements to be better protected. So they're talking about, generally, it's a number of sects, it's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. So they're mentioning other ones, talking about the isolation. And remember that abuse, mistreatment, for that really to be successful, you have to isolate any victim. Someone's arguing that parents lose judgment and become unable to recognize what is acceptable or unacceptable for their child. So it's this, social services do not have the same burden of proof as the police. We are focused on the child. So here's our chap here. So he's gay. So of course that you can imagine that caused problems. On top of saying he didn't attend parties, didn't do Halloween. And I have the impression that the government is not even aware of what is happening in these groups. It is mainly isolation that afflicts young people. In Quebec, it is a religion and not a cult, so it's hard to legislate, admits the young man. Socially, you are unfit. All your life you've been told that it's not worth investing in the world we live in because it's going to be destroyed, he says, drawing a parallel with his own story. I was not mistreated. On the other hand, I was psychologically locked up. We must be aware of the magnitude of the thing. And that's so important, that outside as well of the terrible stories that really have been happening, the physical and the sexual abuse, that the subtler forms of abuse are talked about. In the case of witnesses, young people participate at least in society. However, people at school are just classmates. They are not friends. You do not have the right to have outside relations with them. He's now a comedian. Whoa. So hope some of you get to check him out. Everything is insidious. My parents said that they were not good friends, that they did not know the truth and did not know the word of God. When you're young, having to repeat this to yourself, psychologically, it can mark. He says, pointing out that everything was always focused on fear. Fear drives out love. If you want to get rid of love, implant fear. Don't implant hatred, implant fear, because that will drive it out every time. So they continue. Children's free time, evenings and weekends are spent studying the Bible. Everything goes to the Bible, he explains. Or I would modify and say, of course, through the GB and the Bible. So being gay, he says, not accepted, you have to shut up. So you think you're the only one who lives this. As an adult, he tried to leave the movement once, but he had no bearings. Returning to the fold, he had to agree to comply with the standards of the witnesses. It was the rule to stay with his parents. Oh, I've not heard of that before. I was always treated like a child, he says. Finally, a few months later, he found the courage to leave his family and witnesses. I was no longer capable of that pressure. And that is very true. People are squeezed. However, the result is often brutal for those who reintegrate into society. They must relearn everything. I was a social being with huge gaps, he says. I bet so many of you can identify. So they're going into some experts, but acknowledging it's getting better, but still a long way to improve. Closed communities are at higher risk for children because of isolation, she said. Yeah. So the Commission for Human Rights and Youth Rights has been following the Quebec government for more than 3 years to put in place recommendations to protect children prisoners of sectarian groups. So, and they've got some famous cases, and we have the Eloise Dupuis case is put up there. So well done to this chap for speaking out. If his family is still in, please note, anyone who's not a Jehovah's Witness, he will be shunned now by his family. A, he's gay, and B, he's not going along with the religion. So that's it. Damned hard. So well done, Quebec, for speaking out. Yet another story, and it's something which I hope a lot can relate to. Thanks for your time watching. Please share, of course, and comment in any way that you're moved to. Thanks very much. Bye for now.